Hello all, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to rate Valorant agents from ranked perspective, and it is based on patch 9.05. So let's get started. So we're going to start with Sentinels, then we'll move to controllers, then we'll move to initiators, and then we'll move to Duelist. So let's start with Siege. Sage, I would say Sage definitely requires a buff because Sage healing is good for only 40 minutes. You can't heal herself pretty. It's useless if you heal yourself if you are a Sage. So I would say Sage needs a buff in that scenario. Those slows last very less. The wall can be broken down easily. So I would say Sage definitely requires a buff. The ultimate is good, but again, the 8 point alt cost, and when you are playing a bit passive, then I would say it's not worth it playing Sage in ranked these days. So definitely Sage needs a buff. Cypher is definitely S tier, man. You can't, if someone is playing a good Cypher, it's very hard to beat him. The timings, if he has a lock timing set, then it's very hard to even know whether he'll peak or not. The traps are unbreakable. Then the camera gives amazing info. The cages last very long. So I would say Cypher definitely needs a small nerf. Maybe reduce, Cypher cage time from 9 seconds to 6 seconds or 5 seconds, which gives people time to break the traps. Because now let's say if a Cypher turns on the cage and trip is exactly there, then you can't see the then you can't see the trip. Then you have to wait for 9 seconds. Then till the time enemy team rotates, and then again it's very hard to play against a good Cypher. So definitely STS Cypher, and I have no doubt in my head. In patch 9.05, Chamber got buffed. The teleportation radius uh, got buffed from 13 meters to 18 meters, and I would say definitely that's a very required buff for Chamber because Chamber was feeling very underwhelming right now. But with this buff, I would say now there are more off angles you can play with. The more distance you can go away from your TP and have that off angle, have that opportunity to get the first pick. So I would definitely say Chamber is a very good agent to play in ranked right now. You can get the first pick pretty much easily in lower ranks, and in higher ranks. People will use a lot of utility to get you out of from certain positions, which will leave people with less utility for side executions. So definitely I would say Chamber is A tier, maybe a low A tier, but definitely A tier right now. KJ. KJ I would say is very good, better than Chamber I would say. Her kit is very perfectly tuned right now. I don't want her to be nerfed or buffed. And the ultimate is pretty good. The mollies are pretty good. The turret is pretty good for information. The alarm bot is pretty good for information. So I don't want to see a KJ buff, and I definitely don't want to see a KJ nerf. So definitely a high tier agent, and it's very suitable for rank. If you're a good KJ, you can hold sides properly. So definitely play KJ. Deadlock. I would say if you are in a very coordinated play in ranked, which is impossible. But now let's say if you're playing into very coordinated, then deadlock is pretty good. But again, for ranked perspective, I don't see deadlock being that good because the stunts are pretty much useless. I would say can't capitalize completely because not like the entire team is gonna get stunned. Few people get stunned, people don't get stunned because most of the time Duelist gets only stunned. Then you get traded away. The wall is useless because then wall can be broken or some part of the wall can be broken from which they can execute the site. The gravnet is good if you are throwing at a perfect time, but it's very hard to understand when to throw it. So I would say deadblock definitely needs a buff, but not as required as siege. So definitely a C tier, but not a D tier agent or a needs buff agent. Vice was pretty fun to play with, frankly. But then Vice doesn't have that much of information as for a Sentinel. The wall is good, I understand, but if you're someone in the opponent is play are good players, they'll just spit out the wall. The flash is good. You don't know when the flash will be popped, so that is good. And the slow which she has is good, but again, I don't see Vice taking over the games. Definitely a good agent. The alt I would say was a bit disappointing because the alt lasts very long, and the circle is starts from where the Vice is standing. So if it was like something similar to Harbor, it would have been very good alt. But with Vice alt also being the circle which she is in the middle, That makes the radius pretty small in the front where you actually want to alt. If you example you want to alt the side, you have to go very close to the side and then alt the side. So I don't see why is a pretty strong agent right now. So I would say definitely a B tier and can use some buffs, but let's say it's a new agent. You never know how things will pan out. Let's get to controllers. So controllers Brim, I would say Brim is your default agent in the game. Like if you don't know how to play the game, start with playing with Brim. If you don't know how to play the smokes, play Brim. It's very fun agent to play. You have three smokes, you have a molly, you have a stim. Just throw your smokes, throw your molly, go with your duelist and enter the site and get the picks. So I would say for that, and also Brim has a very good stopping power with molly. So Brim is a very good agent, and if you like the team requires someone to play smoke and you're the one who's going to stuck playing the smoke, when you don't play the smoke, then Brim can work out very well for you. So I would say B Brim is a B tier. Viper Viper is not a fun agent to play. Frankly, it gets very boring. But Viper has amazing stalling power. So I would say Viper definitely a low A tier agent right now, not S tier agent. But if you're a good Viper, definitely can use her pretty well. Omen, I would say Omen is S tier. There is hardly any B2 Omen right now. The smokes are good. The flashes are missing. The TPs are good. The alt is average, I would say. But with even the alt being average, the kit of the Omen is very powerful. So definitely a S tier agent, and I highly recommend playing Omen if you want to learn controllers how to play. Harbor, I would say Harbor is needs buff, man. Harbor needs buff because Harper has only going walls and the smokes basically with him, and that's not enough in this current, ability matchups right now which is happening. So definitely Harper needs a buff, and ult is pretty good I would say. But apart from that, Harper is okay agent, especially if you walls in a way which can hamper your team, then your also team will get slowed down, which doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, I would say they should buff Harbor and make him competitive enough, which can be fun to play with. Astra got a good buff in patch 9.05, and that puts Astra definitely high A tier. With 5 stars, definitely she can make more plays. She has more ability now. She can use pulls. The pull is good. The stun is good. The smokes are pretty damn good. So I would say if you don't want to play Omen, if you want to play with something with passive, then Astra is the way to go, and I would definitely recommend playing Astra now. Clove is basically a rank demon. If you are having a good aim deck, you should go with Clove. Maybe a B tier, better than Brim, but not as good as Viper or Astra. So you can try with Clove. The after the nerf, I don't see Clove that much because the healing got nerfed, the healing price got increased. So in the pistol round, it's less useful. So again, I would say a B tier, but I would definitely recommend Omen, Astra, and Viper if you want to learn controllers in patch 9.05. Now let's get to the initiators. Breach. For me, Breach, if you are doing with a duelist, then Breach is amazing. Then Breach is definitely A tier agent. But if you're a solo queuer, then I would say Breach becomes a B tier agent because then there is no one to make plays with or coordinate plays with. So if you're in a very good coordinated team, then Breach is amazing. But if you're not coordinating well enough, then Breach becomes useless. So right now, what I've seen is people do solo queue a lot of times. So I'll keep it at B tier. But if you're with the duo, I would definitely recommend Breach plus a duelist. Example, Raze, Jet, Neon. With Breach, they are amazing. You should try that combo out. Sova is easily S tier agent. There is no bit to Sova. Frankly speaking, since the game launched, the recon is amazing. The shock darts are amazing. The drone is amazing. The ult is amazing. I won't change a single thing about Sova. Sometimes it's become very oppressive to play against a good Sova, but I mean props to that person who is playing that good. But yeah, Sova is S tier and definitely is going to stay S tier for a long time. Sky with Sky nerfs, the flash is not, regenerating the flashes. I would say Sky is maybe a B tier agent, worse than Breach, frankly speaking. But good info agent, but not as good info as so not as good flashes as Breach, where you can just Sky flashes can be turned easily. So I won't recommend someone playing Sky in ranked because it doesn't fill up the team roles properly. So definitely a B tier. Gecko is S tier. If you know how to play a good Gecko, then it's pretty fun to play Gecko. Example, now let's you throw a flash, you peek with your wingman. It is, you can make plays with Gecko. You can, there's a six man planting for you. Gecko is really fun in ranked, and I love playing Gecko if I have to play Initiator. So definitely a Gecko is S tier agent, and if you're not playing Gecko, you should try it. You're gonna have a tons of fun. Fade. Fade, I would say, is worth Sova in every way. So, if you want to play Fade, I would definitely recommend just play Sova. Sova is more fun, Sova is more better for team play, and you get more information out of Sova. So, definitely Fade, I would say a B tier. I would say better than Sky, but worse than Breach. So, in between. So, definitely. But initiators are pretty much well balanced, I would say. And if let's put Breach at 8 here because I love Breach, so a bit biased, but I like Breach, I like Sova, I like Gecko a lot. So definitely S and 8 tier agents. And B tier you have Fade and Sky, which can be fun, but I mean okay. KO. KO I would say requires buff man, but not as much buff which Sage and Harbor require. So I would recommend, I would put KO at C. The flashes are good if you know how to throw that long flashes. The right click flashes are useless nowadays. Then the knife is good, but again, it doesn't bring that much value. I would the only saving grace I put KO in C tier is the alt. The alt is amazing and it helps a lot because currently in Cypher meta, KJ meta, with KO's alt you can take site easily and that's a lot of help in general. So definitely a KO C tier agent, but I want KO to see get some buff. Maybe just give him extra flash so he can use flashes for himself, but just do something about Kyo, man. Kyo needs a buff. Now let's get to Duelist. Duelist, Yoru. If you're a good Yoru player, if someone is Yoru main, then definitely Yoru is a 8 tier agent. But now let's say you're just trying Yoru, you don't know how to play Yoru with, then Yoru becomes a C or B tier agent. So Yoru is very hit or miss. If you know how to play Yoru, if you practice a lot with Yoru, then definitely I would say play Yoru on every map. But to learn Yoru, it's very hard. The timings are pretty hard. The flashes with the TP can be done when again then timing should be perfect. So with all the learning required, I would put Yoru at A tier. But if Yoru was a bit easier to play, I would definitely say Yoru is S tier. ISO. After the ISO buff, when he got two shields and everything, the ISO was pretty good. But now with ISO, I feel like ISO requires again a buff. Maybe not a drastic buff like what he got in patch 9.01, I guess. But he definitely requires buff. And right now, I would put ISO at C tier because people just fades out 12 seconds till your shield goes away in high ranks, and then ISO is just useless Reyna, basically. At least Reyna has heal and Christmas, but then ISO has nothing to save himself for. So definitely ISO is C tier, and I would say some buff is required for ISO again. So let's see if Riot decides to give him a buff again after seeing the pick rates fall down so drastically. Jet I would say is a jack of all trades right now, but master of none. So you can play Jet, and Jet can be fulfill your every role. But I would say Jet now has fallen in the tier list because Neon and Raze are pretty much dominant in the fast view list now. So I would say Jet is B tier, maybe a high B tier, but definitely a B tier now. Jet can use some buffs in terms of, actually Jet is feel perfect right now. I don't think so. It requires any buff. But if you're having a aim team, I would definitely recommend Jet to play Jet because then you can just dominate the lobbies with. But then again, if you're not having an aim team, then Jet can become pretty useless really soon. So not recommended if you're not having a good aim team. Phoenix, I would say he requires buff in terms of flash because the flash in higher lobbies, if you flash an angle, he people know where Phoenix will peek from, and in that people just pre-fire and Phoenix dies. It's what I've seen and what I've felt while playing. So I definitely recommend they need to buff Phoenix, but not a drastic buff. I would say maybe actually drastic buff. I would say to make Phoenix shine, give him more healing, give him more wall duration, give the molly a bit more radius. That should help Phoenix a lot. Don't increase the time, but just increase the molly duration. Molly radius, so that people can clear more angles with Phoenix. But Phoenix definitely requires a buff, and I would say Phoenix is good on Ascent and Heaven, maybe Bind, but apart from those maps, I don't see Phoenix useful. Neon is my favorite agent to play right now, and I would definitely recommend you learn Neon till until unless she gets nerfed again. But current meta, Neon is very powerful, and I would definitely recommend you learn the Neon. The two dashes are amazing. The stun is amazing. The only weakling of the entire kit of Neon is the wall. I feel the wall is very useless. I hardly use the wall, but so in certain situation it can be helpful. But the art is amazing. Everything is amazing about Neon. So I would definitely recommend you learn Neon. You start playing Neon, and I would. It's a very fun agent to play, and it's my guarantee you'll have fun playing Neon. So Neon is definitely S tier agent in ranked. Reyna, I would say Reyna is easily C tier agent. Again, if you have a good aim day, Reyna is very good. But again, if you're having a aim day, I would recommend you play Jet. You can op also with Jet. Also, you can op with Reyna, but again, Jet is more useful in terms of that. And then Reyna has two flashes. Again, it's up to your aim. If you're having a very good aim day, Reyna can take over the matches. But if you're not having aim day, then I would say don't pick Reyna. Raze, I would say Raze is a very high tier duelist right now, but in ranked. In pro play it's S tier, but in ranked it's A tier because most of the people don't know how to do proper satchels, and that's the issue. And people only use as judge with Raze. There is no skill left, I feel like. So I don't like Raze much, frankly speaking. So I would say if you want to play some fast duelist, the S tier, you should go for Neon. Neon is amazing, and you should learn Neon. That's all. That's my tier list for patch 9.05. And if you think my tier list is right, just let me know in the comment. Or if you think any changes are required in a tier list, happy to know what your thought process is. Please comment, please subscribe, please like the video. It helps a lot for a new channel like me. And also, if you want to see some Immortal gameplay, definitely please subscribe. I stream every night, and I play Neon mainly. I play Chamber, I play Cypher, depend. And also, if subscriber wants me to play different agent, I also play those. So if you like such content, please hit the like button, share it, and subscribe. See you in the next time. Bye bye.